another beginner's guide. Now, there is a little bit of context behind this beginner's guide, so I'm going to give you that first, and then we will actually move on to the advice portion of the video. So basically, a couple of months ago, I decided to start listening to a Korean pop band called BTS. And what I expected to happen was I would listen to a couple of songs and be underwhelmed, and I'd just never think of them again because I don't really like pop music. It's not something that I'm really into. But what actually ended up happening was I fell in love with their music. I really love it. I love the dancing. I love the entire spectacle of all of their videos. Their songs are all really, it's more of like a hip-hop kind of feel rather than a generic pop song, which is what I was worried they were going to sound like. So this led to me doing a bit of a fandom deep dive, and as I did this, I was coming across lots and lots of terms that I didn't fully understand and I was having to Google. So I thought, hey, why not do a little video as a guide to deciphering K-pop terminology for beginners? So that's where this video came from. Let's move on to the actual beginner's guide. So first things first, there are a few different roles that K-pop bands separate their members into, and these are often vocalists, rappers and dancers, and these can be broken down even further into mains, leads and subs. What these mean are a main vocalist or dancer or rapper is the most talented in that role, like they have the best technique. A lead dancer, rapper, vocalist, whatever is the second most talented, and then a sub vocalist, rapper or dancer is the person who supports the other people who have the main and lead roles. Now, obviously, certain bands do have more than one member in a certain role. For example, you can have 2 main rappers or 2 lead vocalists or even 2 sub dancers. There are a couple of other roles that are around in K-pop as well. The first one is the leader. This is often the person who has either the most talent or the longest training period, and quite often they are the oldest member of the group. However, they do not have to be, as with BTS, RM is the leader of the group, but Jin is the oldest. And what a leader does is that they are often in charge of initiating public introductions, speaking first at award shows, and just generally trying to keep the group in check. Next up, we have the visual role. What this refers to is the member of a group who is the most attractive by K-pop idol standards. Now, officially in BTS, this is Jin, and he often refers to himself as worldwide handsome because of this. And finally, the last role is the center. Now, not all bands have a center. What this means is the person who is often placed in the center during photo shoots, fan greetings, choreography, things like that. And this is usually the person, again, who is there because they are the most talented, or they are like the face of the group, and that is why they get to be front and center. So next up, we've got a couple of Korean words that I am like only 90% sure on the pronunciation of. So if I say these wrong, do feel free to correct my pronunciation in the comments. The first one is hyung, and this in Korean means older brother. It is an honorific that is used by a younger male to refer to an older male. So when you watch things like BTS Run or behind the scenes of their like concerts and stuff, they are calling each other hyung all the time. And then we have the maknae. This is the youngest member of the group. In BTS, it is Jungkook. He is often called the golden maknae because he is talented at so many different things. Following on from this are the different ways that you can refer to a group of members within a band. So the first one is the hyung line, and this is the oldest members of the band. And on the opposite side of this is the maknae line, which refers to the youngest members of the group. There may also be an age line, so like a 95 line or a 94 line. What this refers to is members in a group that are born in the same year. So Jimin and V are the 95 line from BTS because they are both born in 1995. Next up, we have a couple of terms that I didn't understand at first because they mean different things in a non-K-pop context. So first up, we have the beagle. This refers to the member or members of a group that are the most energetic, mischievous, over-the-top characters. In BTS, this is definitely J-Hope. However, you can have more than one beagle in a K-pop group, and they are often referred to as the beagle line. Now, if you are into K-pop, you may have people ask you who your bias or your ultimate bias is. Bias refers to your favorite member from a particular group, and ultimate bias is your favorite person overall out of all of the groups that you may listen to. So for me, if someone was to ask me who my BTS bias was, I would respond with, my bias is Sugar. for example. Now, next up, we have the phrase comeback, which in a non-K-pop context, at least for me, refers to when a band has broken up and gotten back together after a long period of time, like Take That or Westlife or even the Backstreet Boys. When referring to K-pop, however, a comeback simply refers to a group releasing new music, but the period of time that this could take could be as little as a few weeks. Next up, we have another Korean word that I had to Google that I am almost 100% sure that I am pronouncing wrong, which is aegyo, and this basically refers to acting super cute, so whether that's like puppy dog eyes or like clinging to another band member's arm. This is absolutely hilarious if it is a particularly serious member of the group doing it, or if it's someone who is bad at acting super cute. And finally, I have a term that is BTS specific, which is ARMY. This is the name that the BTS fandom has. They are the BTS ARMY. And obviously there are plenty of other fandom names out there, it's just this one kept coming up while I was doing my research, and it took me a lot longer than I would like to admit to cotton on that that was the fandom name. And that is it for my little introduction to K-pop terminology video. I really hope that you found it helpful, especially if you're like me and you're just starting to get into K-pop. And if it has helped you, please remember to give it a like.